Hello everyone. Here it's channel Unity and Salvation. In Hebrew it's אחדות וגאולה. Shalom לכולם. Good morning everyone and good day. Today we will talk about is it good to live in Israel or elsewhere. But first I'd like to tell you who I am. My name is Dalia Stupp, and I live in Israel. And I was born here, and I studied in Tel Aviv University history of art and Jewish philosophy that it's known as Kabbalah. When I was 16 years old, I started to study astrology, and I had also a school of astrology. I left it because I wanted to see smiling faces and not crying people that are coming to me, and now I'm making jewelry by myself. And yes, I do see happy women that come and buy and they have my jewelry. This is also made by me. And now I'd like to start and to talk to you about what I came here to talk to you. We are living in a time that one age is not dying and the other has not yet been born. What does it mean? It means that we feel insecure. We feel that it's not, life are not like they were 200 or 300 years ago, that people get up in the morning, went to the work, they worked, everyone in his profession, and the routine of the day was almost the same every day. Now we are living in a time that everything is changing very rapidly, and people are confused. They don't know, they don't have the certainty they had once upon a time. This is not the first time in history that ages are changing. We had this time, such time also in the time of Moses, when the Bible was giving to us the Ten Commandments. Also, it was, here I'll get a little bit inside the astrology, there are ages that are going by the signs. And about 2,000 years, each 1,000 years, an age is changing. In the time of Egypt, it was the age of Taurus. And when we got the Bible, it was the age of Aries. And if you look the Ten Commandments, they look like, if I'll try to make by air the Ten Commandments, if you cut the square down, you get the hieroglyph of the sign of Aries. Now, what the difference between time of Taurus, that it was in Egypt, and the time of Aries? Taurus is something that you have to touch, you have to see. And the holy animal was the cow and the Taurus itself. Now, the age of Aries, Aries is a pioneering, and it's one. One. What does it mean? To believe in one God, in one Creator. And that's the new thing that came to the world, and the pioneering thing that bring to the world one God and believe in one Creator. It wasn't easy to start it, because when we went out from Egypt, and Moses went to the Sinai mountain for 40 days, the Israelites made a statue of a cow or a calf. Doesn't matter, it's the same thing. It's the looking back to the life that they had in Egypt. Although it was difficult, it was hard, and they were slaves, but it's something they knew. The new one, it was difficult to get it, and people started to be frightened. Moses is not coming back. Moses is he went away from us. Maybe he will not come. And the belief wasn't so established at that time. That was the mixing of two ages. One age has not died yet, and the other has not yet been born. And now if we are going even back about 400 years, when Judaism started with Abraham, it was about 300 or 400 years before Egypt, you see that something starting to develop. Also, one age is not dying and the other is not yet been born. So the period, we never know when it really starts and when it really ends, because no one stay with a pistol on our end and say, now it's the age of Aquarius, now it's the age of Taurus. It's not going like this. The history is going bit by bit, and then the mixture, when it comes to meet each other, it's the conflict between them. Also, we had the same thing in the time of Pisces. When the age of Aries finished, started the age of Pisces. Yes, the ages are going backwards, while the signs, we know it starts Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and so on. And the ages are going back. And the age of Pisces, it was also the time when the temple was destroyed by the Romans. And there is something very interesting. The Romans didn't want Christianity to get in. And the funniest thing is that the Roman Catholic are in Rome. They destroyed our temple, but they built the Vatican. And they never to forget that Christianity came from Judaism. But what the difference between the Judaism and Christianity? Christianity is not the source. The source is the Judaism. But as the first Christians were Jews, the influence went also to Christianity. Now, if we look all the period about also 200 years before the temple was destroyed, all the conflicts, the Roman came and they conquered Judea. Also, lot of problems, and started a lot of cults like the Isim. They started in the desert, and we start to see the Prushim, the Tzdukim, many plural ideas inside Judaism. And it wasn't. It was a restless time when rabbinic started to raise up. King was from Romans, and restless time. They tried to fight in Metzada and all other places, but they had to surround and to give up to the Romans. And what we see also the age of Pisces started at the age of Aries. It was also between ages, and Christianity, it took about 200 or 300 years to get and to establish into the world. Now, Pisces are two. It's two fishes that go vice versa, not to each other. And we see that in the age of Pisces, more than one religion was born. Also the Islam was born, and also at the beginning of Christianity, it started the Catholic Church and the Byzantine Church, the Orthodox one. And if we look at the later time in the 15th century and so on, Christianity started to split to many sects, like Jesuits, like Evangelists, Reforming, Calvinists, and whatsoever. They started to split like lots of fishes are in the sea or in the ocean. Now we are living also in between ages, between the age of Pisces that has not yet been dying, not yet been finished, and the age of Aquarius that is going to start. When it will start, we don't know. History will tell us. But what does it mean to live in the age of Aquarius? The age of Aquarius is the age of forgiveness, of love people as they are, without any difference between color and the area of living. Let's be friends, all the people. And if we listen to the song of John Lennon, Imagine, it's exactly the age of Aquarius. A world without borders, people helping each other, people loving each other. But we call it here in Israel and in Judaism, time of Messiah. That the world was born in 6 days, and the 7th day, it's a rest day. We have to rest and to get the Shabbat. Now we are living in a time, then the big Shabbat is ahead of us. The world, by Judaism, we came to Friday. When we say it's time of Messiah and the end of the world, it's not the end of the world, it's the end of the world as we know it. We know it today with wars, with blood, with hatred, with, jealousy. And that is going to finish. All this cruelness is going to finish. And it's not easy, because we see the fight between the light and the night. We see this. And people feel insecure. Take a look what is going on. We had, in the last century, we had, what shall I tell you, 2 world wars. Now the world is not restless with ISIS, with war in Syria, war in whatever. Europe has changed her face. They don't recognize their land. It's full with immigrants that the European doesn't know how to deal with. Here in Israel, we had some experience of a war of more than 100 years between the Arabs and the Jews. And we had terror, and we had to deal with a lot of problem because of the conflict of civilization. Israel is a land that is built by immigration also of Jews from all over the world, different mentality of Jews that came from Europe, other Jews that came from Iraq, Yemen, Morocco, north of Africa, Asia, even from lots of countries of Europe. And it started as a conflict at the beginning between Jews of themselves. Now that we lot of time together, people started to get married of what we call Ashkenazi with Sephardim, and the differences are changing for the better, because there are the mixing of marriages between European Jews and Sephardim Jews, what we call from North Africa, Asia. This mix made us more united, to see themselves as Israelis. But at the beginning it wasn't this way. And the other conflict is between Israelis and the Arabs that came to here. And how do we know that they came to here and wasn't here for thousands of years? In the Bible, in the book of Hosea, God cursed this land. He cursed it, and he said that we will go out to diaspora for a long time. It took us about 2,000 years. And he cursed the land that it will not flourish to any nation in the world, only the one that will be able to flourish the land like a blooming of the rose, to bloom the desert, is the Jews, the Israelis, the one that the land was given to them by God. And it's something that you can see even here in Israel today, gardens that owned by Jews, and they work the land by themselves. The land is opening itself and giving flowers, giving everything. And the other nations that are trying to flourish the land, it's not working. One day King Hussein flew with his plan over Israel, and he asked himself, and he tried to ask, and no one knew how to tell him that it's from the Bible, why Israel is flourishing and Jordan is desert. It's very simple. Jordan was given by God to the Israelis. It belonged to the tribe Menashe. So we can see here Benjamin and Menashe. You can see that what was ours. It's unbelievable how a curse that was given more than 2,000 years ago kept itself. Mark Twain were here in a trip in the 1870s, something like that, and he came to see Israel, what is going on here, the Holy Land, and he saw sand and stones and sand and nothing in between. A very small group of people that lived in Tzfat, in Tiberias, some people in Akko, in Jerusalem, and nothing more. Some people in Jaffa, but most of the land were sand and sand and sand. And the English said that this land is not deserved for people to live in. It was a terrible land full with malaria and other diseases, and the land was very difficult. And then they started the first Aliyah, the second Aliyah, And each people, Jews that started to come to Israel, they started to develop the land, to plant flowers, to plant potatoes, vegetables, fruits. And it wasn't easy to cultivate the land, but the land started to give flowers. The English and the French, they were, after the First World War, they made the Sykes-Picot arrangement, and they started to bring to Israel people from Egypt, from Lebanon, from Libya, from Iraq, started to bring to this place. That's why they are calling themselves Palestinians, because they call it Palestina after the name that was given us by the Romans. The Romans, when they destroyed the Holy Temple and they sent us out to slavery on the diaspora, they changed the name of Israel to Palestine after the Philistine. So this land is not Palestine and not Palestine, it's Israel. And it was named by God, was given to the sons of Abraham, from Abraham to Isaac, and from Isaac to Jacob, and from Jacob to his sons. So it belonged to the sons of Jacob, that his name was changed by God after he fought with the angel. He got the name Israel. Israel in Hebrew, it's also Yashar El, direct to God. Israel has the ability to connect with God. Each of us can pray and ask God directly, because we are the sons of Israel, the sons of Jacob's. We got this ability to connect him. So when you pray directly to the God, and you will get whatever you need. It doesn't matter how much time it will take, because not our time is the time of God, but he is listening to us. So also we have to be very careful when we are talking and speaking to keep our language clean. What does it mean clean? Not to curse, not to say ugly things, and to try to keep our mind clean. When we are asking something, we might find that the sky are open. So think good, it will be good. If we think and we are afraid that we are losing something, it might also be. So be optimistic. Try to see the good thing and to ask for the good thing. Now, if we see there is a correlation between Jews coming to Israel and the development of technology, that's something that I put attention to. In the 15th century, started to develop here in Tzfat a small Jewish community of Kabbalistic that came from all over the world. Ari came here to Tzfat, also Ari, Rabbi Avraham Yitzchak Luria Ashkenazi, also Cordovero, Moshe Cordovero, Rabbi Chaim Moshe Luzzatto, and they started to come to Israel and to build here a community in Tzfat. And if you see in Europe, something started to move. in the Renaissance time. Leonardo da Vinci was the first pathologist, the first scientist, he was also a sculptor, a painter, designer, and things started to develop. If you see, he tried to build even an airplane, submarines, and like a knowledge went down to the world. In the end of the 18th century, you see development of the light. At the beginning of the 19th century, Edison, Bell, they made the telephone, the telegraph, made also a light. Also, the brother Wrights were able to make airplanes. And the things started to develop more and more. In medicine also, they started to find the vaccines. And the development in the technology, I see that it has correlation between Jews are coming to Israel, then God is sending the knowledge to the world to develop. And if you see after the Second World War, started to come here to Israel after the Holocaust, more Israelis, more Jews from Europe and from Arab countries, and they started to build here a community because it's the land that was given to us by God. That's why it was able to be built only in Israel and not in Uganda or other place in the world. So, if we see from the 50s, we had the cars at that time, also airplanes that fought in the Second World War, and the development started to be more rapidly. If you see the development of 50 years or 70 years between 1870 till 1950, it was also, we got buses, we had got cars, we got washing machines, and whatever thing. Life started to become more easy. But if you see the development between the 50s and 1970, you see a rapid development of airplanes that became more developed. Also, cars became more developed. And if you see from the 70s that Jews from Soviet Union started to come to Israel, the communication started to be much easier and computers started to develop much more. And in the 1990s, the gates were open totally, and more than 1 million Jews went out from communist Soviet Russia, and they came to Israel. And from the 90s, if you are looking at the telecommunication of the internet, and now see what we have. We have development of the internet. We can make television on the internet. We can see people in the mobile phone. The computers of once upon a time, they needed a whole building to calculate, I don't know, something very simple. Today they are very small, and the computer that has ability to be a phone, to be to get us the internet, to connect all over the world in real time, It's the mobile phone. The computers are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and much more clever all the time. So the development is very fast, and it has to do quite a lot with Jews that are coming to Israel. The more Jews are populating this land, the more knowledge is getting to the world. There is a connection, because God is the ruler of this world, and He is in control now. How do we know that He is in control? He said in Zechariah that before the Messiah will come, His legs will be on the Mount of Olives, and He will fight the fight of Israel, and what we have to do is to be silent. Take a look what is going on. He is fighting for us. There is a miracle, and Israel, all we have to do is to sit back and not to get involved in the war, because God is doing the job, our job. He said also, סכסכתי מצרים בתוך מצרים. What does it mean? That He will make fire and arguments in Egypt, between Egypt. What does it mean? All the world now is Egypt. And there are conflicts between lots of groups. In Syria, we don't know who is fighting with whom and why. Also in Europe, the clash of civilizations, of people that coming from Africa to Asia, and Asia to Europe. It's the conflict of the civilization. And the Europeans, they don't even recognize the land they have. They go to the streets, and a lot of immigrants from all over the world is coming with different mentality, and they don't know how to deal with. Now, the Europeans are coming to Israel and to ask for help. How to deal with terrorism, to buy from us knowledge, how to manage all this crisis. So we see here that things are connected. And now, as we know that, I'd like to talk to you about Israel. I was born here, as I was told you in the beginning of this lecture. And I love my country. And I do think that a lot of Jews all over the world has to come here. It will help to develop the world, and they will be able to develop themselves. If we look back at what was once upon a time desert and malaria and whatsoever, and Jews started to develop this land, they came here to the nothing, and now go and see her grandchildren's and the grandchildren's. They live very nice and very well in nice places. Israel is a modern country. It's not what was once upon a time. If you come to Tel Aviv, you can see buildings with 44 floors and a city of 24/7. Which is a very modern city and a life city. And me, as a woman, I'm not afraid to go on the streets of Tel Aviv, even in 3 o'clock in the morning. I come home and I feel secure. That's not what had happened to me when I was in England. In the 1987, I went to England in order to study, and I studied astrology there. And I was also a friend of mine. She gave me a ring, and she gave me a Celtic cross. And she said, in Rome, be like a Roman. You are wearing it here, it might save you. Also, she told me, if I feel danger or something, to take my ring and to turn it upside down so it might look like a ring, a marriage ring. And that's why one day, that's what I was doing all the time that I went to the subway and whatever in London. One day I was in the subway and I went on a train, and someone started to sit next to me, and he said to me that he want me to be one of his group. I asked what kind of group, and he said he is from the PLO, and what he needs and wants is Israel's passport, and I can fit to get him such things. I started to shake because on me I had an Israeli passport. But what confused him was the Celtic cross that I wear on me. So he thought that I might be a Christian or something like that. And I saw the dangers. And I told him, excuse me, I'm married to a Sicilian. And he is a very jealous guy. And if he will see a man next to me, he has to come 2 stations from here to the train, and if he will see another man sitting next to me, he might even kill him, because he is a very jealous guy. The train stopped at the station, and the PLO person went away. And 2 stations after that incident, I had to go down. I ran to my hotel like someone shoot me out of the train. And I came to my hotel and I was shaking. In Israel, even in the night, I feel safe. In England, even in the day, I didn't feel safe after such an incident. And there is something very interesting. In England, I was there more than one time. I don't know why the big stores are closing at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. People are running to buy. Thanks to the Indians, there are stores that are open till 8 o'clock, 8 or 9 o'clock, and people have the ability to buy some milk, bread, and whatsoever. But most of the stores are closed, not in Israel. In Israel, there are places that you can buy whatever you need, even in 11 o'clock at night. 11 p.m. In Tel Aviv, there are places you can go and buy even at 3 o'clock in the morning. Tel Aviv is a city of 24/7. Of course, there are places that are closed in Sabbath, but you can go all the week to the theater. We have cinemas, we have restaurants. It's a very vivid place. We have the seaside, and people can go. on the streets and feel secure. Tel Aviv, it's a different place, but there are also, it depends what people are looking for. Jerusalem is the city of the soul, where you have the Western Wall, you have a lot of places, but also you can go at night and in restaurants and a lot of places. It's more religious, but you can see also religious cities like Bnei Brak, Pardes Katz, Tzfat. There are a lot of religious people that live also in Tel Aviv, and the non-religious, and that's the beauty of Israel. We can find a lot of cultures, and also from a culinary point of view. Because we are a land of immigrants, you can find the Yemen food, Iraqi food, Bulgarian food, Romanian food, Eastern European, German food, Moroccan food, French food, and Italian food, also Greek. So a lot of people from all over the world, they can find themselves. And now, even in what they like to eat and what they like to drink, and also pluralism in theaters. We are a modern country that is a vivid one. So I'm telling you all that, so if you don't believe me, you can come to Israel as a tourist and see it for yourself. I'm happy that I was born here, because I can understand you. Why do you like to be in the places that you are used to? I'm thanking God that I was born here, because I'm also a person that love my place, my home, my city, and my country. And I know the difficulties of moving from one place to another. It's not easy. And to think that leave one country to another one and to sell everything, it's even more harder. So there are people that came to Israel, they bought houses here, and they live in two places, and then they have the ability to do it slowly. But as you can see, here in Israel, with all the problems we have, and we have a lot of time, about long time, from Gaza, they started to bombard us with a lot of rockets, and now it's a silent place. But not all Israel is burning, not Israel is bombarded, not all the days and not all the nights. We have from time to time problems, but take a look at Europe. Europe now has problems. In Paris, they don't recognize Paris. In Germany, they don't recognize Germany. Lots of immigrants are changing, and ISIS is fighting in Europe, and the terror you can see all over the world. Even life has changed in the United States. It's not free as it was because of fear from terror. People are there are security and checking if there are no bombs on the bags of people. So it's all over the world, the same problems. So this kind of problem don't have to make us to be afraid to come to Israel. Because Israel here has other qualities. People here don't suffer from anti-Semitism, as it started to see in Europe. They developed because the fear of the strangers. So the same. It started also to develop anti-Semitism. And it's, you can see it in France, you can see it in Germany, in England, and even in the United States. Yes, United States, it's big, and it's not everywhere. But in Israel, if you come as a Jew here, you will make not only a favor to yourself, you will make also a favor to the world, because each Jew that is coming and developing this land and sitting here and flourishing the land, make a connection, a better connection of the world with God. And you don't know what kind of technology will develop by every Jew that is coming here, not only that we are developing a lot of things and selling to the world, like WhatsApp and in medicine, and a lot of areas. Jews are good in making patents. Also, we are very small in the population of the world of 7 million people. We are about, 14 million people. And you can see, although we are, small nation between the nations, a lot of prize Nobel are giving to the Jews. More than 20% from the Jews hold the prize Nobel. And that's it, because the connection that we have direct to God. It's our name, Israel, Yashar El, direct to Him. Christianity need Jesus that was Jew in order to have a connection. The world need us, but they can't stand it that we are different. We have different clothes, we are different. And they can't stand it because they see the Jews hold, now they are sold a bit of it, the media, Hollywood. It was in the hand of Jews even today. Also communication. And a lot of Jews are holding and developing new systems and connection to have the ability. Also, you can see it all over the world. And now as we come to the end of this lecture, I'd like to thank you that you are watching me, and I hope you will come one day to visit Israel. And not only to visit, also to live inside, and to be safe as I am, even in the nights of Tel Aviv. And also in the nights of other places, as you can see, you can find yourself in the Galilee, in the Negev, depend what kind of weather you like. So thank you everyone, and see you next time, and bye-bye.